No microphone today.
Please unmute, please.
Okay, there we go. Got there in the end. Thanks. Sorry. Hey, Roy. Really nice to see you. How's everyone doing after Saturday? What's the mood like amongst the group this week?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, obviously we're disappointed about the result, of course, but there wasn't really that good a reflection on the game, in our opinion. We didn't play that badly at all, but paid a high price, unfortunately, for a couple of mistakes that we made, and as a result, you lose the game. But the mood in itself has to be based on the fact that we know we did as good a job as we could possibly do, and on another day we probably would have got a result.
And is there any early team news ahead of tomorrow?
No, I mean, with these very quick turnovers, you've always got to sort of give players as long as possible, so we're still monitoring one or two from the game at the weekend. And nothing's changed in terms of our long-term injuries, although Martin Kelly, who's one of the long-term injuries, is now back in training, but it was his first day today, so it'd be a little bit early to throw him into the deep end.
And I know throughout the press conferences over the course of the season, we've talked about the lack of goals being scored. Obviously, the last 3 games, no goals scored. Don't want to sound like a broken record, but I suppose transfers aside, what are you working on, especially over these next 5 games, to not just create more chances, but to take more chances, I suppose?
Well, we work as we always do. I think our training program is balanced between attacking and defending, albeit at the moment that, quite honestly, you don't have a chance to do a lot of proper training sessions because the games are coming so close to each other. It's always a question of just after a game or just before a game. So we're limited in terms of the actual tactical work you can do. But we've certainly done an awful lot over the past 3 seasons, and certainly during the course of this season. And sometimes it happens that you get into a situation where players aren't getting the chances that they would like to be receiving, or they're maybe not taking them, and you just have to battle through that period. For front players, it is a matter of confidence as well, and sometimes the first goal can provoke other goals, but there's nothing we can really do about it other than make certain that players keep on doing the right things, that is, making the right runs, getting into the penalty area for crosses, and being in the right positions if balls are cleared from the crosses. And more importantly, being prepared to take on the shots when the shooting chance arises. At Liverpool, we didn't get that many because we were playing against a very good team. And in the second half, I think against Burnley, we had about 17 opportunities, they say. These days, I think a lot of good work around penalty areas, and we saw it yesterday in particular, I thought, with Liverpool, Aston Villa, and then Southampton against Man City. A lot of the work doesn't get to the goalkeepers because the defenders do such a wonderful job in front. So there's a lot of shots which are goal bound or might even have gone into the goal, were it not for the fact that the defenders have thrown their bodies in the way and blocked it. And then at the end you see shots on target, 4, 3 goals scored, and I think it doesn't really reflect always on what happens in the game.
And I know you've said you're hoping to have a good summer transfer window. Conor Gallagher, who is a Chelsea midfielder on loan at Swansea at the moment, is someone linked to the football club. Is that a kind of player you're interested in?
Well, we get linked with lots of players, and it would certainly be wrong at this moment in time to start discussing a player every time his name comes up and is linked to us. I'd prefer to talk in more global terms, and that is we are fully aware that the squad is quite small, and in particular in the attacking areas of the field, we lost Cenk Tosun, that we thought we would bring in to help us in this period of time. We lost him early on. Connor went out on loan, Connor Wickham. So we know that we're short, actually, of bodies apart from anything else in that area. So we must do something about it. And everyone at the club is 100% behind that. And I can only hope that some of the targets that we have and some of the players that we've discussed, whose names and whose style of play I think would suit us, are available, and we can afford to bring them into the club.
And Chelsea next, Roy. What have you made of them since the restart?
Well, they're very good. I mean, both before the restart and afterwards. We've been a bit unlucky in that respect, in the sense that we got ourselves in a good position, and now in this very tight period of 9 games, we're playing against a lot of the very top teams all of whom have started well. I thought Chelsea were looking good before the break, and they've come back and continued that. They've got a very, very good team, many, many good players, and irrespective of our own position at this moment in time, it would have been a very difficult game to play. So all we can do is prepare for it and get ready and look forward to it. I do look forward to the game, and I know the players are looking forward to it. And I also know that we'll do our best. We'll work very hard and try and make life as difficult for them as possible, but we're 100% aware of all the challenges that the quality they have is going to present to us.
And Roy, just lastly from me, I think you might have spoken to the written press about this, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on the drinks breaks that we've seen. It's something that we're asking all managers today, but the likes of Chris Wilder very strongly against it, saying it's a tactical break. What are your thoughts on the drinks breaks?
I think it was introduced for the right reason. I think people were aware that a lot of the games were going to be played in very, very hot temperatures, and that's what happened in the beginning. Now, of course, the weather has calmed down somewhat, and there's quite a few evening games. People are starting to question it, but I really don't think that it's a vital issue at this moment in time. The vital issue was, can we get these 9 games played? Can we decide positions in the league this year on football matches, and not by someone just deciding that this is how it's going to be because we've got to stop the season. And the drinks break was introduced. I don't think it was a bad thing to introduce. At the moment, I understand that for certain managers, they might be thinking we don't need this, we didn't need this drinks break at this moment in time. But as far as I'm concerned, it can happily carry on, and then at the end of the season, I'm pretty certain it will be looked into once again. People would analyse, was it worthwhile, did we really need it, and then they'll make a subsequent decision. But I find myself at the moment with much bigger problems to deal with than whether or not we're going to have a drinks break or not. So happily pass that on to people to whom it means more.
Okay, thanks, Roy.
My pleasure.
We've got to Sam from PLP.
Yeah, hi there, Roy. Good to see you. First of all, just on the game, is this one where you look at and you think, oh, I really wish that we could play this in front of our home fans, because we know the atmosphere that is created in these types of matches. Is this one of those where you think, yeah, I really do wish that Selhurst atmosphere could help us over the line, if you like, in this one?
Yes, I think that goes for all the games, but it also goes for all the teams. I think every team relies heavily on its home support. We're exceptionally fortunate. Our fans really do get behind us, and they make a lot of noise, and they provide a lot of encouragement. And when you're playing the top teams, teams with such a lot of quality and in such good form, like Chelsea at the moment, we have Man United coming here as well. Obviously, you think back and you think, wouldn't it be nice if our fans were there just to help provide that extra bit of motivation and maybe breathe a bit more life into the tired legs, which we're going to suffer from as the game develops. But it's not to be, and we knew that when we started these matches, that they were going to be played behind closed doors. It was the only way to get the matches played. So I don't like to dwell on the subject too much, because things that you can't change and things that are there for a good reason, really. Had we insisted that no, we'll only play these matches if fans were allowed in, then we wouldn't have played any matches at all. We're all aware of that, so we just have to get on with it and not lament too much the fact that it can be a slight disadvantage to you.
I thought it was interesting what you were saying before about the idea of the players throwing their bodies on the line in these last few matches. I just wondered, have you been quite impressed with the intensity from the Premier League as a whole and the way that the players have carried themselves in these last few games? Because it is tough when you're playing so many games in such a short space of time, having been out for so long.
Yes, it is. I think the players and the clubs deserve an awful lot of credit. I mean, especially the clubs like ourselves, where the squad is not quite as big as some of the other teams around us, and you're really almost obliged to stick to a fairly small group of players. I think it's incredible what they've done, and I think the intensity of the games is good. It's not quite what it would be if the fans were there, but we've always known that. It's better than I thought it would be, I've got to say. The games are more like a game played in front of a crowd than I perhaps expected it to be, because the atmosphere when you're there at the games is a little bit strange sometimes, a little bit ghostly, and it has to some extent a training ground feel to it rather than that very important match day feel. But considering those things, I think the players have done remarkably well. And, we've seen some games recently where the intensity has been very high, and we've seen teams take on teams that were expected to beat them quite comfortably and find it hard to do so.
I know you've spoken about Chelsea already, but can I ask you about the job that Frank Lampard is doing at the moment?
He's doing a very good job, and I'm very pleased that's being recognised. I think that the club have done a good job too, because they appointed a young manager and given him the chance and even maybe the mandate to start bringing in some of the younger players and to back those players up rather than to perhaps complain that some of the teams around them have spent more money. Frank's gone on with that very, very well. I've not seen any suggestions from him that he's missing out on major transfers up to now. What he's done is worked with the players he's found there, and he's given the young players that he obviously knew about and Jody Modest knew about. He's really given them their head and given them a chance to play. So as a result, we see people like Mason Mount and people like Ross Barkley, of course, and Reece James, just to name three. These are players that are really profiting, I think, from the fact that the manager believes in them and has given them their head. And as a result, they bring the quality that we in football have always known they possessed. And that's helping the team to great success. So I congratulate Frank on the job he's done so far. I just hope I'm not congratulating him tomorrow evening. That would be I hope I'm going to disappoint him.
Just finally for me, Roy, if I may, Christian Benteke, 82 minutes he got on the pitch the other day. All right, he didn't score, but how much of a benefit is that to him to get that game time under his belt and for your side as a whole?
Yes, I mean, the fact is we only have the four players competing for those three positions. So it's very good that all four of them are available as they were at the weekend. And Andros can then come on when required if I choose the other three. So we need him, there's no doubt about that. He's a focal point to our attack. And he hasn't played a lot of football in recent months, that's for sure, not just because of the lockdown, but even before the lockdown, he wasn't always in the team. So it's good if he gets some games now and can finish the season well, and then hopefully he'll come back for the next season stronger for the experience.
Thanks, Roy.
Pleasure.
Okay, I think that ends the broadcast session. So if I can ask the broadcasters to leave now, and we'll carry on with the writers. Thank you.